All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 3rd of October, 2025. Flyers Daily presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. Flyers preseason game number 6 last night as they took on the New York Islanders. Final 2 preseason games for the Flyers, both at home to get ready for the regular season, which will be a week from yesterday when they open up down in Sunrise, Florida against the 2-time defending champion, Florida Panthers. On the road. Then they'll head to Carolina before coming home and opening up against the Florida Panthers at home at Xfinity Mobile Arena on the 13th. Flyers got outshot in the game last night, 27-21, and they go down in the game 4-3. Oftentimes in preseason, you see that when a team makes mistakes, they're pretty for lack of a better term, dramatic mistakes. We've seen, I think, 3 different goals given up by the Flyers in this preseason on 2-on-0s. You won't see 3 2-on-0s probably through the entire regular season, but that's the looseness of preseason. That's the looseness of players trying things and risk, and players trying to find chemistry with other players and what they can do and can't do. Now, again, you don't take anything from the score here. Preseason doesn't mean anything. There were some good things in the game, and we're going to show some of them. Ultimately, you got to limit these kind of mistakes. The game-winning goal from Emil Heineman comes in on a 2-on-1 towards the end of the game, almost a breakaway after the pass by Anthony Duclair. That's the difference in the game. And when we get to the regular season in just, 6 days from now, you can't have these mistakes. This has to be cleaned up. And every team is having these mistakes in preseason. That's what it's for. And while there's 7 preseason games, and now you finally got the group down to a manageable size as Lane Peterson and Carson Dorr were sent to the AHL, still some decisions to be made, but now it's a manageable size. And you go, well, going forward, I think they're only going to have 3 or 4 preseason games starting next year with the new CBA. What is that going to be like? Are they going to be more messy? Well, they'll get the group squared down much quicker next year. And it's a lot easier probably for them. And I was talking to somebody in Flyers development talking about it's actually a little easier now because the group is manageable. When you have basically 2.5 teams worth of players in camp to practice and coach and multiple sessions and all of that stuff, it's pretty difficult. It's a bit chaotic. So when things get pared down to where they are now, 25, 26, 27 players, it starts to become a lot more manageable. And that's where things are now. And we'll see again on Saturday when the Flyers play the Devils at 12:30 at Xfinity Mobile Arena, something that resembles a much more normal regular season hockey game, albeit it won't matter. The result won't matter, but you want to start to see some things kind of gel and come together. And we have seen that at points. We've seen chemistry with Zegras and Mishkov. We've seen Travis Sanheim get off to what I think has been a really good camp for Travis Sanheim. He's got a power play goal and now a shorthanded goal, which we'll show you in a second. I think Sean Couturier's been good. I think that Grabenkin just helped his case again last night. The line of Cates, Forster, and Bobby Brink strikes again, this time on a power play. And when you look at, training camp and lines that need to come together and players need to come together, well, it helps. They played together last year, although they're not where they were last year just yet, but there's a lot of familiarity there. So you see a lot of the similar things where they play like a pack on the forecheck, very tight together, and swarm on any puck that's a 50-50 puck or until they have definitive possession. Once Brink, Forster, and Cates get definitive possession, you start to see them disband and stretch the defense. But when the puck's up for grabs or possession is up for grabs, you see them play very tight together, supporting the puck, supporting the other players. So we've seen some things that need to be cleaned up. We still have some question marks about third pairing. We still have some question marks about where exactly Christian Dvorak's going to play. Is he going to be a fourth line center? Is Jetlichenko going to be that guy? Is Dvorak going to play on the wing? Who's still going to play with Michkov and Zegras, if that's the line? Who's going to play with Couturier and Konecny? Last night it was Tippett playing with Michkov and Zegras. Is it going to be with Konecny and Couturier? Is it going to be Gurbankin, who finds himself in the mix over and over again? I'm almost resigned to the fact that he's making this team. He's just been really good over the preseason. And I think, again, last night, he was excellent. We're going to get to how he contributed into a goal. Didn't get a point on it, but how he contributed into a goal. So let's kind of get to the highlights. This is something I want to do a little more this year, is kind of show some highlights and talk about them. So for the people listening, I hope that you're able to follow kind of what I'm saying. But if you can't, go to the YouTube video on PhiladelphiaFlyers.com or Flyers YouTube channel and check these out, because a lot of times when people talk about a goal being scored, they talk about the action of the goal being scored, the 4 to 6 seconds leading to the goal, the pass, shot, rebound, goal. I like to go back a little further, and because I think sometimes the goal is determined a lot earlier than 4 to 6 seconds. I think the goal is determined a lot earlier than zone entry, which brings us to our first one. And this is a shorthanded goal by Travis Sanheim. Now, there's a couple of decisions that are made very, very early in this play, and we'll go through them. So here's the Flyers. They're on the PK, and right here, there's a player at the point for the New York Islanders. I believe this is Matthew Schaefer. He's going to make a backhand pass, which has got pretty good distance from middle point almost to the hash mark. A backhand pass under pressure. He misfires on the pass. It's going to hit the boards first and not get directly to the player. Christian Dvorak right here reads the play, decides this is a good opportunity to attack a puck that's up for grabs. And he does. Gets the stick in there, creates the odd man break the other way. We see what happens. He wins the race down the ice, and then a quick drop pass to Travis Sanheim, who puts it in. But let's go back. Really, the key to this play, other than Dvorak making the decision when he made it, is really the decision that happens right here. And this right here in the middle of the ice with tons of open space is Travis Sanheim. How does he end up all the way down the ice to receive that drop pass? Well, first of all, you have redundancy here. 2 Flyer players and 3 New York Islanders all tied up along the wall, leaving the middle wide open for Sanheim to get on his horse, win the race ahead of Matthew Schaefer, who's right here, and then he drops the puck to him. His defender, Dvorak's defender, is too deep, and Sanheim's able to put the puck in the net. So really, the play there's 2 plays here that cause the goal. It's the ill-advised backhand attack of the puck by Christian Dvorak, and then Travis Sanheim getting up the ice to get that rebound. Now, I did ask Christian Dvorak in between the first and second period. I said, how loudly was Sanheim calling for that puck, saying he was there to receive a drop pass? And he said he was actually telling me that he was covered because he thought 51, the other Islander D, would have dropped back and prevented that pass. Dvorak thought he was calling for the puck. He was in front of Schaefer. He ends up putting it in the back of the net, and the Flyers go up 1-0 on the shorthanded goal. So those 2 decisions, again, the decision A of Dvorak to attack a lazy puck that was going to hit the boards before getting to the player off a backhand pass, and the decision for Travis Sanheim, and here you see another version of it, Travis Sanheim to get on his horse, get up the ice, and make himself an option to bury the puck. Tremendous play. Tremendous play. All right, so that puts the Flyers up 1-0. Shorthanded goal. Sanheim is second from Dvorak at 1:46 of the first period. Maxim Shabanov gets his first of the preseason. He chose the Islanders over the Flyers. He had a great redirect goal, high glove on Sam Ersson, and that ties the game at 1. But then at 11:10 of the second period, this is the one where I'm talking about with Gurbankin. Now, this goal Something we talked about a ton last year was that the Flyers were very static. They didn't move enough on offense to create offense. And a lot of times we hear coaches talk about play without the puck. Make yourself accountable to defend even when you don't have the puck. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by movement. So here is the offensive zone rush. It's a 1-1 game, 9:08 in the second period. And the Flyers here, Gurbenkin out of the corner. Look at all of the movement all over the place. Look at Gurbenkin goes to the middle, now to the side, to Couturier, who slides out top. Now back over to Gurbenkin, and then, or excuse me, Sealer. And then Gurbenkin ends up in front of the net front, taking the eyes away from Ilya Sorokin. Everybody is moving. It's like the lottery balls in an old lottery machine going everywhere with a lack of predictability. It makes it very difficult to defend. And TK gets the seeing eye shot. I mean, look at all of the movement, crossing and going everywhere here. And Gurbenkin just parked out front. Look at that traffic. Layered screen. Oh, you love to see a layered screen. You hate to see this goalie. Sealer drops it off, snaps it to Konecny, and look at this. Because Gurbenkin's there, there's also a defender for the New York Islanders, and that's no pushover. That's Romanov. Good play. Great execution by the Flyers. Great movement. It all starts with Gurbenkin out of the corner. And again, look at all of this movement that's going on. All the options that become open because of the movement and the cycle. This is how you generate offense in the NHL. Tremendous goal. That's how you generate. That's how you make yourself accountable without the puck. All those guys moving. A stationary target is easy to defend. A static target is easy to defend. A target or option in motion creates decisions. More decisions you put a team to, the more likely a decision will be made wrong, and you get an opportunity. That's what happened there. Great execution. That put the Flyers back up in the game 2-1. Anders Lee then gets a goal. Adam Pelech gets a shorthanded goal. And the Flyers now down 3-2, but they head to the power play. This play, and we'll break this one down as well, is equally as interesting because it speaks to playing fast. And I don't mean skating fast, but playing fast. So there's a turnover as the Flyers are on the power play in the neutral zone. They have a zone entry on the left side. It fails. It gets clogged up. It gets pushed out to the neutral zone to Jamie Drysdale, who boom, gets it to Sean Couturier right here on the right boards. As soon as Couturier gets it, now look at this. He gets rid of it. Now there's two Islander players occupying a player that just got rid of the puck. This guy in the middle has now got to deal with Jamie Drysdale along the blue line. He challenges him. And when Drysdale has an option here to Tyson Foerster, he takes it. And what do you have now? 1, 2, 3. Flyers, one defenseman. You've created a small area game of a 3-on-1 with multiple options for Foerster. First option, across the Cates wide open net. Could have gone right to the net with a screen with Bobby Brink and gone for a redirection or rebound. Would have been a good scoring chance. Not as good as the one he chose. But because of the quick re-entry by Jamie Drysdale, not getting the puck, dusting it off, resetting up, doing a slingshot. No, soon as the turnover happens, right there, boom, swings it right to Couturier, tracks two players. Next player attacks Drysdale, cross to Foerster, boom, backdoor, goal. You don't see a lot of power play goals off the rush. Again, Foerster, great little pass, puts it on a tee, and Cates, boom, right into the net. Look at Brink too. Stick presented for Tyson Foerster to redirect that home. Multiple options there as well. If you're going to score more, those are the ways you got to do it. This team needs to do two things this year. One, score more. Two, not more than two. They got to score on the power play with plays like that, off the rush and offset situations, which we've also seen. Tippett power play goal was off a set situation, give and go with Christian Dvorak. Sanheim scored a power play goal, give and go with Christian Dvorak down along the goal line with other options available. That's the way they're going to do it. They also got to prevent less goals. Now, they gave up 4. They got to get that solid goaltending, and they got to tighten up that D-zone structure. Can't be giving up 2-on-1s where it turns into a mini breakaway. Can't give up 3 2-on-0s in the preseason. Can't do that. Once the regular season's here, that can't happen. We're not there yet. We'll be there in 6 days, and that's when it'll matter. Dan Vladar will get the game on Saturday in total. Dan Vladar's looked good. Frankly, he's looked a little better than Sam Ersson in the preseason. His game looks a little more refined. Is it refined and looked better enough to go, hey, Dan Vladar's our starter for game 1? No. I'm not going there and creating all this controversy and noise. I'm not doing that. But does he look good? Absolutely, he has in the 4 periods that he's played. The 1 goal last night from Ersson, maybe one that I didn't love. The Anders Lee goal. The Shabanov tip, beautiful. 2-on-0 goal, basically a 2-on-1 almost breakaway. I can't fault the goalie for those. Vladar's look good. I didn't love the Vladar goal that he got a piece of off the shoulder, and then it kind of climbed him and went over and went in. But this is preseason. So some really good things to take out of that game last night. So I hope that seeing the highlights and seeing the clips and breaking them down a little bit further back than just the pass shot goal helps like kind of see what playing fast means, why it's such a problem. Like that goal that Kate scores, it happens so fast that the New York Islander power play just never has a chance to get back into its structure because it happens so quickly. I mean, entry, turnover, boom, right back on you. Their power play's a mess right now. There's no box. There's no diamond. They're over pursuing 2 guys on 1. When you're already a man down, 3-on-1 down low, that's a goal every time. Beautiful stuff. I like pretty hockey. That was a pretty play. And it happened because of a quick decision from Jamie Drysdale, who doesn't even get an assist on the goal. Nikita Gurbenkin on the Konecny goal doesn't get a point. But he is as important to that goal being scored because of the net front presence that he drove along with him and Romanov, and he doesn't even get a point out of it. That's incredible. And then the other one with Dvorak, the great read, and Sanheim reading the play. I mean, that's how you're going to have to generate. Flyers score them 3 different ways last night. We showed you a shorty, we showed you a power play goal, and we showed you a 5-on-5 goal. So we'll do more of this throughout the season as well. So let me know in the comments, by the way, if you guys like the breakdowns, because I love doing them. I love CSIing these goals and seeing why they're scored. Okay, last thing for this episode. By the way, next week, I think Wednesday, we're going to have our right before the season sit down with the general manager, Daniel Briere. And on Thursday, we're going to break bread and have a long sit down with Flyers head coach Rick Tocchet. So we got a lot of great stuff coming up. Bill's coming up on Monday. We're going to do next week. We're going to do Monday. We'll be off Tuesday. We'll do episodes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we'll be Monday through Friday the rest of the season. So we're back, baby. We're back. All right. That's number one. Last thing I wanted to mention, I'm writing about this for Crossing Broad. As I left the game last night, I was talking to the security guy in the area where I park, and he said, "Coming Saturday?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll be here Saturday, 12:30, coming early." He said, "Yeah, it's going to be crazy down here Saturday with the gritty run in the morning, Flyers game at 12:30, Phillies playoff game." And then I got done talking to him, and I said, "Yeah, it's going to be nuts." And I started walking to my car, and I looked over across the street. I'm in the H lot, coming out of the back of the building. And I look over at a slightly lit Citizens Bank Park. And I look at it, and I go, man, Saturday night, that place is going to be electric. It's going to be jumping. playoff baseball, red October, beautiful fall weather. I'm going, man, that's awesome. Because I'm a sports fan. I'm a 4-for-4 guy. You know, like I love it all. Hockey's my number one. You guys know that. There's no doubt about it. It's never been in question. And then I look over as I'm looking this way to Citizens Bank Park, and I look over to my right, and I see Lincoln Financial Field partially lit up, home of the Eagles. And I'm looking at that going, man, NFC Championship had to go through there last year to get to the Super Bowl. When the Eagles won it in 2017 season, 2018, when they actually won the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship had to travel through that building. Last year, it had to travel through that building to get to a Super Bowl. And I know what goes on in that building when there's Eagles games, and they've won 20 of 21 games. And I got in my car, and instead of turning on my music or podcast or something I want to listen to on the ride home, I just left everything off and thought. And the thought that came into my mind was this, that I am incredibly jealous of, now a lot of people are fans of all these teams, but I'm incredibly jealous that that's not the Flyers providing that atmosphere that's going to be at Citizens Bank Park, or that's not the Flyers right now providing that atmosphere that's at Lincoln Financial Field, that it's not the Flyers generating that buzz. I remember, growing up in 1980 when the Phillies won it. It's a marker in time of my life. When the Sixers won in 83, that's a marker in time of my life that I remember forever. When the Phillies finally won in 2008, even when the Sixers went to the final in 2001 and won game one over the Lakers, and Allen Iverson stepped over Tyronn Lue. When the Flyers went to the Cup in 2010 or went in 85 and 87 and 97. They're markers in your life because they're exciting playoff runs where we all get on board and we all agree on one thing in our twisted world now. And I see how together Eagle fans are, winning 20 out of 21 and being the reigning Super Bowl champion. I see the excitement at Citizens Bank Park. I remember 2008. I remember the disappointment of 2011, which was probably even a better team, or 2009 when they lost to the Yankees. I remember all these things. And I asked myself a question almost out loud. I said, am I jealous of the success of the Phillies and the Eagles right now? And my answer was simple. You're goddamn right I am. I want that for the Flyers too. I don't want to take it from the Eagles and all their fans. I don't want to take it from the Phillies. I just want to add the Flyers to it. I want the rising tide to raise all boats. Now, that's hard to do in sports because they're all different. And what the Flyers do or who they draft or who they develop, it has nothing to do with who the Phillies drafted and developed and traded for and Rule 5 and AAA and none of it. One doesn't affect the other. But man, do I want that for the Flyers too. Now, is that going to happen this year? Probably not. Let's be honest. It's probably not going to happen. It may not happen next year either. Are they on the right path? I don't know. Time will tell. I like the way they're going and they're building. But I want that, what the Eagle fans are getting, what Philly fans are getting Red October after Red October. I want that at Xfinity Mobile Arena. I want that for Flyer fans. Because when I grew up, they were in the playoffs every year. That was almost a foregone conclusion. It was, are they going to be good enough? Are they healthy enough? Are they playing well enough? Are they going to get the goaltending? Are they going to go on a run? Now they haven't been to the playoffs in 5 years. And am I jealous? Not afraid to admit it. I absolutely am jealous, and I want that for the Flyers. Have a great weekend. Bill Meltzer joins us Monday. Join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.